Welcome to the first episode of Let's Go Outside on Bella Vista Community Television. Today we're going to talk about hiking trails, specifically trails that are appropriate for kids, families, and seniors. And we have a special guest today, Trey Anson, who is the Senior Manager for Trails and Outdoor Recreation for the Bella Vista Property Owners Association. Let's go outside. Well, it's good to have Trey Anson with us this morning. Mr. Trey, thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Our trail guru of Bella Vista.
I'm one of many trail helpers here in Bella Vista.
Well, y'all do a great job.
Thank you. We put a lot of work in, and like I said, there are a lot of people involved making these trails the draw that they are, and I'm happy to be one of them.
How many people visit our trails monthly, yearly?
That's a good question. We monitor trail use through a system of trail counters, where if you walk past them, they count the number of people, they count the speed that you go. We can tell if it's a mountain biker or a walker, somebody training for an event, or somebody walking with a little toddler. And so we can tell changes from one year to the next, from 1 month to the next, what the traffic is like. Capturing the exact number of people that get here is difficult because there are tens of thousands that can show up on any given weekend, and the sun can shine and another 2,000 will come, or maybe it's a little bit cold and we lose 1,000. But we see about 500,000 people on the Northwest Arkansas Trail System that move through some part of Bella Vista a year. That's our best case. So, and that is local residents using it for their daily walk. That's people coming in on a business trip and hearing that there's trails here. Oftentimes, if you ask someone what life is like here in Northwest Arkansas, they'll mention the trails. That is a top draw for us. We have the museums, we have the trails, we've got several prominent businesses, and so they'll come check it out, and they might just walk a mile of it, or they might park at a small park like this and take in the greenway for a little bit. Don't have to go very far to see something interesting or to kind of get a feel of how nice it is here. And so all those total up, I think we see about 500,000 people that are walking, biking, or riding.
Nice. Yeah. Well, our focus today is on kids, families, maybe seniors. Mm-hmm. But mountain biking is also extremely popular as well. Are there trails that are more appropriate for mountain biking and trails that are more appropriate for people like me?
Sure. I haven't seen you ride,
but I'm gonna
want to. I'll guess. I'll do a broad idea. We call these multi-use trails, which means you can walk on them, you can bike on them, there's a wide range for people who are mountain bikers who are looking for a specific kind of trail as their skill set progresses. And so we've done a lot of trails that are slightly harder than the one before, or have some aspect to them. They're downhill, they're uphill. And so there's a lot of variation there. But whenever we're building trails, or whenever we're planning out trail systems, we start with the idea that we want to bring in everybody and have something to offer everybody. You can get lost in all the jumps and everything if you want to, but if you step back a little bit, you'll see that we have designed this trail system to have something for everybody all over the map. There's always something close to you that you can use. One of the ways that you can tell is our color grading system, which is a universal color grading system. And if you look at a trail on a map, you can see that it's a green trail, a blue trail, or a black trail. The green trails are the easiest, and that is the easiest access. They have the flattest terrain. They would be the most universal for anyone on a bike or on foot. And then blue is harder than that. Blue is a good hiking trail. Blue is usually about what you might think of as like a state hiking trail. If you wanted to go out to a waterfall, or you went to a state park and you were going to go hiking, that's a hiking trail. So if it goes walking, hiking is blue. Black is biking. That's for advanced users. Those are people who are very comfortable on their bike. Many of those trails are still walkable, but you're going to encounter things that are going to be difficult. And so black is kind of, the idea is, when you're ready to go on the black trail. If you're wondering what a black trail is like, you don't need to wonder about it. It's not for you yet. That's for later. So finding a green trail is a great way to start. We have a number of trails in Bella Vista that you might see labeled AMTB, which is Adaptive Mountain Bike. This is adaptive mountain bikes, or mountain bikes that are built for people who have some kind of a physical challenge. So they're often 3-wheel, sometimes 4-wheel bikes. The design of that kind of a trail happens to align perfectly with someone who is getting over a surgery or walking with a small child and would like to be outside, but can't do anything big like a curb. Can't do anything that's terribly rocky. You don't want to cross any water. You're not going to jump anything. Those two things line up perfectly. So we have several trails here. Tweety Bird was our first trail that was designed that way, and it is a 45 or 48-inch wide trail. So you can walk holding hands, which is fantastic. You can walk with hiking sticks or a cane, which is also great. You know that the trail is going to be wide, that it's going to be smooth and rolling, and because of those adaptive mountain bike requirements, we spend some extra time there making sure that it's that the weather hasn't done anything to the trail. You don't need to worry that you're going to get there and maybe the weather had messed it up and it used to be easy to walk, but now it's a mud hole, or now there's a ton of gravel there. So Tweety Bird was our first one. It's great, and it's a lot of fun to go see. The neighbors, the people in the area have come in and decorated the area around. You can see some of the unique personalities of the neighbors and of the Bella Vista residents there. There's tons of fun stuff to see there. We also put in the Snowbird Trail. Same deal, perfect for everybody. That trail is a sculpture park, and so there's tons of artwork all along the way, and it'll keep you going. If you're maybe getting a little tired, you can usually see something that's interesting. Maybe I'll put in a little bit more, I'll get there. In both of those trails, you can park right at the foot of the trail. They're easy on and easy off. They're short trails. You can spend an hour there if you want, and get back to your car and get started. You can try it out. Those are great for outdoors. For folks who are looking to work out, or maybe they just got done with knee surgery. It's week 4. The doctor says you can walk, but it's got to be flat. The Arkansas Greenway is perfect for that. 10 foot wide, super smooth the whole way. No inclines greater than 5% the whole way, so it's perfect for anybody bound by a wheelchair, or anybody who is worried that they might get lost. The Greenway runs all along civilization the whole way. There's very few places where you couldn't hear a car, or you couldn't scream and somebody would come and help you. If you lose your phone or you dropped your wallet and you feel alone, there's always folks there to help. So there's a lot of community all along the Greenway, and making that Greenway, that kind of highway that runs through all the cities, accessible to everybody, has been a big push for the trails. So the crossings, road crossings, you're not dropping off curbs there. They've made it so that the intersections where you cross are safe. There are additional lights, there's additional signage. All along the way, we've done what we could to make it as safe and user-friendly as possible. And we've got a couple miles here, and we've got a couple more miles coming. So there will be even more of the community will be connected by that. The Greenway.
Any time frame for that?
The time frame is as soon as possible, and everybody is working, and there is a lot of sweat on brows in the area to get that done. Because the trail has so many requirements, because it has to be so wide, because the terrain has to be so smooth, there's a lot more involved, a lot more people involved, and you've got to get a lot more pieces in a row before you can start paving. And so those ones, they take a little bit of time, a lot longer than a trail where maybe it's a guy that looks like me in a chainsaw and a guy behind him with a shovel, and you can kind of move, and you didn't even know if they were working on it, and now there's a trail near you. They take a little bit longer, but but everybody is working hard on it.
And who creates the trails and maps it? They're mapped out, I'm sure.
Sure. We have a broad view of what we want to do. So right now we're sitting next to the back 40 trail system. We had a broad view. We knew what side of town it was going to be on. We knew about how long we wanted it. And we have a map of the common property that the POA owns, property that the city owns, private property that might be for sale. You kind of draw a line through the middle of that. And that's the first step. And then they take that to the board. And once we get board approval, once the residents have had a chance to weigh in on it, we'd love to see it come to this area for this reason, or we'd like to see it out of this area for this reason. Once that's been approved, then there's a group called the Trailblazers, and they do the nuts and bolts of drawing it out. They figure out where the power lines are. We can't go there. And there's a leach field over here, or these crossings are going to be difficult. And they get to really close to exactly where it's going to be. Then once that's approved and they start construction, they know pretty clearly where they want to go. They might have a 10-foot wide path, and it's going to be somewhere in there. We need 6 feet, so it might move over a foot here and there, but as they're building, they're deciding. Anybody who's tried to plant a tree or put a fence up in Northwest Arkansas knows that sometimes you've got a great idea and then you stick the shovel down there and it breaks instantly. And there's a rock. When you thought there was grass, maybe some dirt, but it turns out no, it's rock in the whole way. So they change a little bit, but they move quick, and the companies that build trails are used to that, and they go and a little bit at a time, and then when it's done, we know what it's going to look like. But that's the broad process. Is we know we want a trail here, we figure out if we can put one there, and then there's guys on the ground who are figuring exactly how can we save that tree, how can we get people to this view, how can we get people to this amenity. Many of our trails run by golf courses, they run by the community centers, they're run by restaurants, they're getting access to things, going to the parks, things that people want to do along the way.
How many miles of trails do you have?
That is a good question. It changes. The answer yesterday was a little bit past 104. It changes because we sometimes make trails a little bit longer, make trails a little bit wider. We're making little additions all the time, but we're just up over 100 now, if you count the hard surface and the soft surface. Here in Bella Vista, in Northwest Arkansas, I think we're getting close to 300 now. So.
And a lot of those connect together.
Yeah, you can get to every trail in Northwest Arkansas from every trail in Northwest Arkansas. So the Greenway runs from south of Fayetteville all the way up, just past where we're at, to the Little Sugar. And that is one line that connects Springdale and Johnson, Rogers, Bentonville, Fayetteville, everything's on there. And then all the mountain bike trails come off there in some way. So if you think of that as that's the main drag, and you can get from a mountain bike trail to there, you can get to another city and get on their mountain bike trails and trek all around there. It's a pretty dense spider web of trails all in Northwest Arkansas. Yeah.
And who does maintenance on trails? Surely trees fall and things happen.
From time to time, a limb will fall, or the wind will blow. The trail maintenance is here is a collective effort. So the Bella Vista POA is in charge of the day-to-day maintenance, making sure that things are getting done. The city partners with us. They take on half of the financial burden of that maintenance. We contract some people to come in. I do work, our teams do work, day-to-day work, and rebuilding bridges. We might have to bring in some outside professionals depending on what the damage is. Anything that you would need to power tool on, we're kind of in charge of that. The real maintenance, the bulk of maintenance, the weed eating, the raking, the kicking stuff off the trail, kicking a rock, kicking a stick, all that in Bella Vista is done by volunteers. We have a couple hundred volunteers that have that like the trails, and they want to get out and feel like they're Their volunteer time and their outside time are they're doubling up there. They're getting double points because they get sun and it's a workout and they're volunteering. It's a great way to maximize those extra hours you have during the week. And so there are a couple volunteer organizations that people can join. The Friends of Arkansas Single Track Fast is their name. They're a volunteer organization, and they've been here. They've kind of been here since before the trails. The people who started Fast and the people who were building the first trails in Bella Vista are the same. So as long as there have been trails, Fast has been here. And they get together and do work days. They also get together and do once a week, and they do rides. And you can be pretty good at riding and find some people in Fast that you can have fun with. And you can be brand new, don't even have the tires on the bike yet. You can show up and they'll help you out, get you set up, and they'll start showing you the trails and teach a little bit about riding too. And if you're interested in volunteering, they'll tell you where to go to get involved. The Trailblazers also have a volunteer organization, volunteer crew that works like Adopt a Highway used to with the mileage on the highway system, where you can say, this section of the trail is going to be mine, and I'm going to walk it, and if anybody throws anything down there, if there's any weeding that needs done or raking, I'm going to take care of that. If something happens that's beyond my control, I'll reach out, get in touch with the POA and let them know that someone needs to come in. And then they kind of monitor every section. Now, as we talked about, there's a ton of trail here, so that takes a couple hundred people to really fill that out. And at most times they are near or at full adoption, which is a luxury that we have. We have a great community of trail users here. A lot of people who may have even moved here for the trail. Finding full trail adoption on a trail in other parts of the country can be pretty difficult, but we got a great group, and they work together, and they're organized, and they're talking to each other, and they do the real, by hours, they're doing 80 or 90% of the work is the volunteer group.
Nice. Do trails have a direction, a flow direction, or are they
up
can
or
you
down,
go north, south,
left or
east,
right?
west?
Green trails, you're good either way. Blue trails, you're good either way. Some of the black trails do have a direction, and it's easy to tell because you can almost never go the wrong direction. If you're looking straight up the hill, that's not the easy way. Turn, and if you can fall down the trail, that's the direction you're supposed to be going on the one-ways. And they're all clearly labeled on the map system. If it's a one-way, they let you know. And if you accidentally take a wrong turn and you get to a trail that's one direction, there's going to be a sign telling you. If you can read this, turn it around. Yeah. Yep.
Understand.
Yep. The trail system is, hopefully all of the trails can be both ways, because then they can work as connectors from everything. One of the problems is a trail that only goes one way, you can only start one place and end one place. But some of the trails are steep enough, they're skinny enough, they're challenging enough where if two people were on the trail at the same time going opposite directions, it would present a serious danger. So we have set up some of these to be one way. The downhill park that is going in just over here across the line, those trails are almost all going to be one-way trails. It wouldn't be safe for people to be going head on there. Most trails are set up to be two ways, but can become dangerous if people are crossing paths on them. And that's a challenge for our trail users of every level, at all times of the year. How do we share the trail when two people are in the exact same spot? There are some etiquette rules that people can know before they go out to the trails that can make that a little bit easier. The first etiquette rule I tell them is that it's never wrong to just stop. To just stop what you're doing. If you're in a situation, you feel someone coming behind you, someone's coming in front of you, maybe the terrain has changed and you're not sure if you can maintain your speed, it's never wrong to stop. Two people can look each other in the face and choose. This is usually the maneuver, it can be a little one or a quick one, but one person lets the other one go and then we move on. It takes an extra 2 or 3 seconds out of your life, but it's the safest way. way to do it. The other general rules to know are that somebody who's going up a hill is working harder than somebody going down a hill. And if you stop going up a hill and you lose your momentum, it's harder to get going again. Downhill, you can stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Just use gravity to get you the whole way down. So whenever two people are crossing paths, the person who is going uphill is, in general, the one who should take the path. Someone going downhill stops and moves to the side. That allows the person who's really working, who's got a little bit of momentum, and they might be more focused also on what they're doing than the person who's coming down. The person going downhill is often also going faster, and stopping the person who's going faster is the safer way to do things. Beyond that, hikers have the right of way. When hikers and bikers are crossing, you'll often see a hiker who steps off the trail to allow a biker to pass, and that's perfectly appropriate. If you feel like it's easy for you to step off, if there's space for you to do so, you feel like it's easy for you to step off, you can absolutely do that, and often the bikers will appreciate that. But the biker is the more dangerous mover in that situation, and it's on them to slow down and stop. I ask people to always remember, if they're out in the woods, if they're out going to the grocery store, if they're out walking down the sidewalk, nowadays we often encounter people who are listening to headphones and we don't know it. They might be in their ears, deep in their ears, we don't see it. They might be wearing a collar and you don't see the wires. They might be on, people are talking to themselves all the time now. You can't tell who's crazy and who's not. It used to be pretty easy. Now it might just be a business guy, So I always try to remember, one, people might not know you're approaching. They might be listening to music. They might be having a bad day. Biking can be stressful. It's physical activity. If anybody thinks about running a sprint, how good they'd be at social interactions while their sweat's pouring on their face and their heart's pounding in their ears. We're out here working out, so we might not be able to tell where everyone around us is. So if you can see someone, the best move is to stop yourself and wait till they can see you, and then you guys can negotiate the path. So just do your best to help out everyone around you, and everybody else doing their best to help out you, and that's the safest way to play it.
So just be courteous and observant.
Being courteous, being slow. I'm the only one getting paid out there on this trail system. I'm the only one who's there for a check. Everybody else, remember, you're off work. It's a Saturday. You're there for the points to go there to enjoy yourself. Don't do anything that you wouldn't do if you're trying to have fun. No pushing, no shoving. You might have the right of way. No reason to put your elbows out. Nobody's winning anything. There's no prizes out there. Everybody's here for fun. Do your best to be courteous to your neighbors. They do the same, and that's how this works. In this trail system, in the years that I've been here, I can count on one hand the number of accidents that were preventable. There are a lot of accidents out there, but everybody has been really great about doing their best to be a community. Just be safe for everybody.
So the most dangerous type of trail would be a black trail.
Yes.
Because that's primarily mountain biking.
Yes.
But for those of us who just want to hike, you mentioned Tweety Bird earlier. Is there another trail or two that you're fond of for?
Sure. The Mulligan Trail, which runs along a lot of the Dogwood course, is a great place. It also connects to the Greenway, so you can go and kind of check it out a little bit and come back. Lago Vista, which has now become a trail system on its own. It runs from one side of the Little Sugar Trail system to the other. Our trail systems are kind of like big circles, and there's some trails that run in between them. The Lago Vista trails are a step up. They're a little more difficult than the Tweety Bird. They're not as wide, but they cross a lot of streets, and they're a great place if you've done Tweety Bird, if you've done Snowbird, if you've done the Greenway back and forth, and you're looking to add something else. Those trails have a number of steep turns in them, which are a challenge for mountain bikers. But if you're ready to venture out, they're a great way to kind of test yourself when you're walking. And so that's probably the best stepping it up when you're done with the greens and you're ready to move up. That's your best place to go. There are also a number of trails that run between the BVRC and the new Treehouse Park, which is right behind Casey's. And you can get from the parking lot there at BVRC along the creek, which is great. I mean, it's beautiful. The creek's running the whole way. And then you end up at the Treehouse Park, which is great for kids because there's a treehouse there. It also has a really unique trail surface that is paved but not smooth. So it looks from a distance like a dirt trail. It's got some undulation and some bumps in it. But when you get up to it, it's actually concrete. So it is, it's stable. You're not worrying about kicking rocks and gravel. And that loop will take you around the Art Council's sculpture walk, which has they're always switching out and bringing in new art. They have a lease program, so go check it out. A couple weeks later, go check it out. It might be all new art. It's great, and it's a great little loop if you're looking to do a daily walk. If you were looking to put in, you know, I want to do a mile a day, you know, if you're looking for like say rehab or workout purposes, if you want to do a loop, you can see your car the whole way. Like I say, the creek's there, it's beautiful, art to look at, and you can park right up next to it. So that's another great place to check out. If you're looking for fun ways to experience the outdoors here in Bella Vista from outside your car window.
Right. Wonderful information. Anything else? You're so full of knowledge, I don't want to cut you off.
It would be anything else. So long as we're talking about trails, you would have a skewed view of my intelligence if you only saw this screen. The only other thing is these trails are, I think, different than you might assume they are if you're only hearing about them or you're only seeing pictures about them. The real great part of the trail system isn't the view from above, it's not the mapped view, it's the view from on the trail, looking around you, and the only way to really get that view is to go walk on it. Almost everyone can find a place here in this trail system. There's a spot for everybody, and so getting out there and trying them, I think, is such a great amenity that we have here. It's such a great thing you can try, and especially now in the spring, boy, you know, we've been sitting outside this whole time, and I haven't wiped my forehead once. So enjoy this time. It doesn't always last, you know. We get a pretty good summer here, so boy, in the spring, getting out and giving it a try. I always say, if you don't like it, no one's going to make you go. So you can always go take a shot, try it once, see what you think.
Well, thank you very much.
Anytime. Absolutely.
Trey Hansen, Senior Manager of Outdoor Recreation and Trails for the Bella Vista POA. Thanks again, Trey.
Anytime.
Thank you so much for watching. New videos are available on the second Wednesday of every month. Until then, go outside.